I'm your host, Dave Walker, about to do another edition of Schedule Analysis. So right now I'm going to shuffle the deck and we'll figure out who we're going to do. Will the wild card get picked? We'll see. All right, let's see who we got. First card is the wild card. So last team that I did was the Cincinnati Bengals. So it was in that division. So let's see, who am I going to do? Going from my list, we'll do the Green Bay Packers. So for the Packers, their schedule right now pulling up right now. They were a team that, honest truth, I counted out. I really didn't think that they'd have a good season. And I already know from them beating my Cowboys in a fucking wild card, which I know enough of. So I really wouldn't want to count this team out. Jordan Love, I think, going to have an exceptional second year with his receiving core with Dobbs and Reed. So we'll wait and see what happens. So I'm going to pull up their schedule right now for the Green Bay Packers. So the Packers schedule is their first game is against the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil on a Friday night on Peacock. So their first game is in Sao Paulo. And with this game, I'm going to go to Packers in this one. I think the Eagles might underestimate the Packers. Like I said, I learned that lesson the hard way last year in the wild card and see what happened. So I will go with the Green Bay Packers in this one. I see them starting off 1-0. They win very close. I'm going to say maybe by a field goal or maybe a last-minute touchdown by Jordan Love. Sorry, Jordan Love. So I see that one happening. Colts, Packers. This right here, week 2, could be a sleeper good game because you don't know what Anthony Richardson you're going to get out of it. But this game being in Lambeau, Packers are good in Lambeau. So I say the Packers get the win here. They win and beat the Colts close, maybe in an overtime or maybe by a field goal. So they're 2-0 right now. Packers, Titans in Tennessee. Green Bay will get the win there. The Titans won't be able to hang with the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going to take the Titans on that one. Vikings, Packers. I will take the Packers in this one. Minnesota is not the same due to the fact that Kirk Cousins is now in Atlanta. Justin Jefferson is still there. Jordan Addison, I don't know what's going to happen with him with his situation, with his DUI situation right now. So I will take the Packers in this one. They're going to be 3-0. Packers, Rams. In this one, this will be the Packers' first loss. The Rams are going to look for revenge from last year. Because you got to remember last year when these two teams played in Lambeau, there was no Matthew Stafford because he got injured in a game against the Cowboys. They had a backup. And this one being in LA, I see the Packers looking for revenge on this one. Cardinals, Packers. I see the Packers winning this one here. They bounce back from an ugly loss to the Rams. They kill the Arizona Cardinals and get the win here. They'll get the win there. Texans, Packers. Now, this could go either way. If this game was in Houston, I would have took the Houston Texans in this one. But being in Green Bay, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers in this one. I think Green Bay is going to win this one in an overtime because I think the Texans are going to be very, very good this year. And this is going to be a tough one at a 1 o'clock game. I'm shocked that this wasn't a 4 or a Sunday nighter, but I'm going to take the Packers in this one. Packers, Jaguars in Jacksonville. I'm going to say Jacksonville gets the win here. The Packers are going to take a loss. Jacksonville is good at home. I think this is going to be Trevor Lawrence's bounce back. Now, this one's going to be another close game. I think the Jags are going to win this one probably via an overtime or maybe by a field goal. So I'm going to take the Jags in this one. Lions, Packers. I see both of these teams splitting with one another. But I see the Packers getting the first dub in Lambeau this time, winning very close. They're going to get that one. Packers, Bears. Packers get the win there. The Bears, they're in a rebuild. This is going to be Caleb Williams' first season, so I don't know much about him, so I don't know how he's going to do. So I take the Green Bay Packers in this one. Packers, 49ers. In Lambeau, this one I see Green Bay getting the win. Now, if this was in San Francisco, I could see the 49ers getting the dub in this one. But in this one, I see the Packers getting the win. They get revenge after losing the divisional to them at home. So the Green Bay Packers will get the win there. So I say Green Bay again wins another close one. So they're going to have like 3 close games they're going to win. I said against the Jaguars, against Detroit, and this will be the third close game. The Bears, I think they're going to walk. They're going to demolish. Dolphins, Packers on a Sunday night. Now, Miami at times is not good in cold weather situations. And during the month of November, it does get very cold in Green Bay. So in this one, Green Bay gets the win here. They win this one close too, probably in an overtime, but I will take the Packers in this one. They get the dub. Packers, Lions. Now, this is going to be a loss for the Packers because I said these two would split. This one's in Detroit. Detroit gets the win here. They win this one very close in an overtime. They get the win there, so that's a win. Packers, Seahawks. In Seattle, it is not easy to win down there. So unfortunately, I do see the Packers losing this one, with Seattle winning in some weird way on a Sunday night. They win this one in a weird way. Saints, Packers. Packers get the win. They come back after being on a 2-game losing streak. They do beat the New Orleans Saints here. Packers, Vikings. Packers will sweep the Vikings. They get the win there. And then Bears, Packers. Packers get a win over the Bears in the last game of the season, which could determine probably a 1 seed, a 2 seed, or wherever there is, or for their division fighting with Detroit. So a breakdown of the Packers record, we have them 1-0 against Philadelphia, 2-0 against Indianapolis, 3-0 against the Titans, 4-0 against the Vikings, 4-1 against the Rams, 5-1 against the Arizona Cardinals, 6-1 against the Texans, 6-2 against Jacksonville, 7-2 against Detroit, 8-2 against the Chicago Bears, 9-2 against the San Francisco 49ers, 10-2 against the Dolphins, 10-3 against Detroit, 10-4 against Seattle, 11-4 against the Saints, 12-4 against the Vikings, and 13-4. So I have the Packers at 13-4. Now, I think the farthest they're going to go in the playoffs is, this is my matchup, I think will be an NFC Championship matchup between either them and Detroit, or maybe against someone else. I don't know whom. I honestly don't think it's going to be the 49ers, because with this whole Brandon Ayuk situation right here, and there's a possibility if he does get re-signed, then maybe. But the whole Super Bowl hangover thing, I don't know. But I do see as a possible NFC Championship matchup is either going to be them in Detroit, or maybe them against some other NFC team. I don't know whom. I don't think it's going to be Philly or Dallas, but it's going to be one of those two against each other. Or possibly maybe against the 49ers if they get over Super Bowl hangover. Next team on the list, our second one. So it's a skip card. So we don't know who this team is going to be, so I'm going to skip. So I won't even know, because I'll reveal it in the end. Another wild card. So I did the Packers, so I will pick the Indianapolis Colts. Now, for the Colts schedule, they are coming back after Anthony Richardson was coming off of a bad injury. So we'll see how he will do. Now, they did come very, very close to trying to make the playoffs and win their division. Had it not been due to a drop pass, they would have got in. But unfortunately, them's the breaks. But for the Colts schedule we're pulling up right now, their first game is against the Houston Texans at Indianapolis. Indy is good at home, but Houston is a lot hungrier this year, and they've got something to prove. They're trying to get into an AFC championship this year. So unfortunately, I see the Colts taking their first loss. They're going to be 0-1 against the Texans. They play against the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. Unfortunately, they're going to start off 0-2. Not easy to win down in Lambeau. Then they play the Bears. This will be their first win. They're going to beat the Bears. I'd say you have a battle of two quarterbacks. I don't know much about Caleb Williams again, but I think the Colts pull that off and get the win. Steelers, Colts. They're going to beat Pittsburgh, so I see them getting a win over Pittsburgh. They're going to be 2-1 at this, 2-2 at this point. Colts, Jaguars. Unfortunately, in Jacksonville, it's not easy to win down there for them, and they have had their struggles against the Jaguars. So I said the Jacksonville Jaguars will get the win there. They're going to be 2-3 here. Against the Titans, they get the win there. They'll get a win here. Against the Dolphins, shockingly, I see them pulling an upset over the Dolphins, because it's not easy to win in Indy, and I could see Indy pulling off a close win over the Dolphins. So that's going to be an upset when I have as. Colts, Texans. Texans get the sweep here. They're going to beat Indianapolis at home. Probably Texans win in overtime or by a late-minute field goal. Colts, Vikings. Indy will get the win here, because I don't think Sam Darnold is that good, and I don't think they can beat the Colts. So I'm going to take the Colts in this one. Bills, Colts. Fortunately, I'm going to take Buffalo in this one. I don't think Indy can hang with Buffalo, even though Buffalo does not have Stephon Diggs anymore. But I think Buffalo does pull off a victory here. Colts and the Jets. This one here on a Sunday night in New York, I'm going to take the Jets on this one. I say the Jets get the win here with Aaron Rodgers having a field day, but that's going to be a tough one there. But I'm going to say the Jets do on that one. Lions, Colts. I'm going to go Detroit on this one. This could be a sleeper good game down the road in November, but I will take the Lions in this one. I think the Lions win close, possibly in an overtime on that one. Colts, Patriots in New England. I'm going to take Indianapolis on this one. I don't know much about Drake May here, but I think Indy does get the win here. Indy and the Denver Broncos. I'll take Indy on this one. Zach Wilson is not going to be that good for Denver, so I'm going to take Indy on this one. Titans, Colts. I will go with the Colts on this one. Colts get the sweep here. Colts, New York Giants. I see the Colts beating the Giants at home. And then the last one is Jaguars, Colts in Indianapolis. Unfortunately, I see that as a loss because Jacksonville might be trying to fight for a playoff spot, and I think that's where the sweep is going to begin. So a breakdown of the Colts record here, we have them at 0-1 against the Houston Texans, 0-2 against the Packers, 1-2 against the Bears, 2-2 against Pittsburgh, 2-3 against Jacksonville, 3-3 against the Titans, 4-3 against the Dolphins, 4-4 against the Texans, 5-4 against the Vikings, 5-5 against the Bills, 5-6 against the Jets, 5-7 against the Lions, 6-7 against the Patriots, 7-7 against the Broncos, 8-7 against the Titans, 9-7 against the Giants, and then 9-8. So they will be at 9-8. Now I don't know if that's going to be enough to get them in the playoffs, but who knows? But with the AFC, you have to have at least, I would say, the bare minimum to get into the AFC. I would say maybe 12 and something, like 12-4. But that is the bare minimum. I don't see them getting in. Next team on the list is another skip card. Whew. All right, let's see what this is going to be. I won't know what it is, and it's going to be the end. I'll reveal this. Okay. Draw 2. All right, let's see what 2 it is. So we're going to reveal these 2 right now. This is the reverse card. So we're going to go back in the Colts division. So we'll do the Jaguars. And then the final one out of that, I'll reveal who that is in the final one. So we will do the Jacksonville Jaguars. For the Jaguars, they are coming off of missing the playoffs due to Trevor Lawrence being injured. Can they rebound? Can Trevor Lawrence stay healthy? We'll wait and see. So we're going to pull up the Jaguars schedule right now. First game of the season they play against is the Miami Dolphins, the Battle of Florida. I say this will be a very, very close one. Now, this game was in Jacksonville. I would have took the Jags in this one, but unfortunately, in Miami is good at home. This becomes a close one. It may be in an overtime these two decided by, but I see Miami getting a win, maybe by a field goal or maybe by a game-winning touchdown by either Waddle or Tyreek Hill. So they're 0-1. Jaguars and the Browns, I will take Jacksonville in this one. They rebound after that loss to the Dolphins. They get the win here very, very close against the Cleveland Browns because of the defense. Jaguars win here. Jaguars, Bills on a Monday Night Football. I will take Jacksonville on this one because, again, Buffalo, even though it's in Buffalo, I don't see Buffalo still being the same without Stephon Diggs. We're going to find out, was Josh Allen really that good without him, or was he ass like everybody thought it was before Stephon Diggs? So I'll take the Jaguars on this one. Jaguars, Texans, I say both of these teams split. First one being in Houston. I see Houston getting the win here. Houston wins close, probably in an overtime with a field goal. Colts, Jaguars, I will take the Jaguars in this one. They bounce back after a loss to the Houston Texans. They get the win here. In London, where they are very, very good at against the Bears, they'll get the win here. They get that win easily right there. Patriots, Jaguars, again in England again. They're good in overseas. They get the win here, so they're going to get that one over the New England Patriots. Packers, Jaguars. If this was in Lambeau, I would have said Jacksonville gets a loss here, but Jacksonville pulls off a win here. Very, very close. This might go to an overtime, but I see Jacksonville winning this one very close. Jaguars, Eagles in Philadelphia. Unfortunately, Philadelphia gets the win here. Doug Peterson does not get the win over his old team, but Philadelphia gets the win here close. So I'm going to go with the Eagles on that one. Vikings, Jaguars. Jaguars get the win and bounce back after taking that ugly loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Jaguars, Lions. Lions get the win here. They win this one close, and I think that one goes to an overtime. Texans, Jaguars. Jaguars get the win by a last-minute field goal. They split with Houston. Jaguars, Titans. Jacksonville gets the win here. Then they're going to wipe the floor with Tennessee. Jets, Jaguars. Aaron Rodgers is good in the month of September, but in Jacksonville gets the win here. So I see Jacksonville pulling off the dub here. Jaguars, Raiders, in Las Vegas at home. I'm going to say Jacksonville gets a win here, but it depends on where we go with this, where it goes, even though Vegas is good at home. Depending how the Raiders are, and when we come across this bridge near December, I'll wait and see. But I'm going to take Jaguars on this one. Titans, Jaguars. I will take the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they're going to sweep the Titans. And then the final game of the season against the Colts, they get the win here, trying to fight for a playoff spot. So a breakdown of this is, so I have them at 0-1 against the Dolphins, 1-1 against the Browns, 2-1 against Buffalo, 2-2 against the Texans, 3-2 against the Colts, 4-2 against the Bears, 5-2 against the Patriots, 6-2 against the Packers. They take a loss. They're 6-3 to the Eagles. They are 7-3 against the Vikings. They are 7-4 against Detroit, 8-4 against the Texans, 9-4 against the Titans, 10-4 against the Jets, 11-4 against the Raiders, 12-4 against the Titans, and 13-4. So they're 13-4, fighting for the division with Houston. If not, they're going to get in as a wild card. Now, the final team out of the draw 2 was the Washington Commanders. And we want to talk about bad football at its finest. Here we go. And we got to get to some stinkers now. Here's one of our stinker ones. All righty. For the Washington Commanders, they have a new head coach in Dan Quinn. They no longer have Ron Rivera after he got fired. They made a couple moves. They have Austin Eckler. They still have Scary Terry. They have Jaden Daniels. They have a rookie quarterback. So for them, it's going to be a little tough there in the rebuild. So we're going to pull up the Commander schedule right now. Their first game is against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers get the win on this one. I see Baker torching that Washington defense. They get the win here. They get their first win. Second one is against the New York Giants. I'd say they bounce back from that ugly loss against Tampa. They get a win against the New York Giants. They are 1-1. Monday Night Football against the Cincinnati Bengals. Sorry, they cannot hang with the Bengals. The Bengals are going to wipe the floor with them on Monday night, and that was a waste to put them on for that to see a bloodbath. So I'm sorry, we're going to have the Bengals win that one. Against the Arizona Cardinals. In Arizona, I see Kyler winning this one. I say very close, probably low scoring, but I have the Cardinals winning that one. Browns Commanders, I have the Browns winning that one. Deshaun Watson having a field day, and that defense getting to Jaden Daniels. Washington and Baltimore. Baltimore gets the win here. Lamar running over them, so I have the Ravens winning that one. Panthers Commanders. Commanders get a win. They get over Carolina. I see this one being a low-scoring game, so I have Commanders winning that one. Bears Commanders, you have the battle of 2 rookie quarterbacks. I'm going to take the Commanders in this one, so they have another win here. Commanders Giants. In this one, they split with New York. I see the Giants getting the win here. Steelers Commanders. In this one, I see Pittsburgh getting a win here. Pittsburgh does get a win. I say very close. I don't see this one being really as good of a game. I could see this being maybe a Pirates/Nationals baseball game, or maybe even a Penguins and Washington Capitals game in this one. Commanders Eagles. Eagles are going to wipe the floor at Washington. They can't hang with them. They're going to lose that one. Dallas and the Commanders. Dallas gets a win there. We've seen this story same as before, and this chapter is not going to change. Titans Commanders. I see Commanders getting a win over the Titans in this one. Commanders Saints in New Orleans. Unfortunately, I see New Orleans winning this one. Commanders are not going to be hanging with New Orleans, and it's not easy to win in that building. Eagles Commanders. Eagles get the sweep here. They win that one at home against Washington. Falcons Commanders. I have the Falcons winning. Dan Quinn does not get a win over his old team. I see Kirk Cousins destroying Washington in that one. And then the final one is Commanders Cowboys. Cowboys get the win and sweep Washington because Dallas will be either A, fighting for the division, trying to fight for a playoff spot, or possibly trying. I'm not even going to go that far. Never mind. Just division or playoff spot. That's it. I'm not going to say they're going to win. Dallas is not. And I'll be very honest with my team. So a breakdown of their schedule we have is 0-1 against the Bucks, 1-1 against the Giants, 1-2 against the Bengals, 1-3 against the Cardinals, 1-4 against the Browns, 1-5 against the Ravens, 2-5 against the Panthers, 3-5 against the Bears, 3-6 against New York, 3-7 against the Steelers, 3-8 against Philly, 3-9 against Dallas, 4-9 against the Titans, 4-10 against the Saints, 4-11 against the Eagles, 4-12 against the Commanders, and then 4-13. They are 4-13 in a rebuild. They do not make playoffs. Now, before we end, I'm going to reveal the 2 cards that were skipped. So the first one that was skipped was a reverse card. So that is out. The other was another. Well, actually, no, this was the previous reverse card. So we're going to put it out. It actually was a skip card. It was actually a reverse card for real. So that one was out. And then the last one was another skip card. So we have now gotten through 24 teams. So we have 8 more to go. And then in August, I will give a breakdown of my own Super Bowl prediction, my division winners, and my Super Bowl matchup picks. So all in all, before I bid adieu, well, it's been enough time for talk. It's time for kickoff. I'm Dave Walker, and we'll see you on the field. Good night, everybody.